Assalamualaikum everyone. So we're gonna discuss writing task number two and the third category, that is advantages and disadvantages category. So it's also quite simple like the discussion category. So let's start. So the question is, multinational companies are becoming increasingly common in developing countries. What are the advantages and disadvantages of it? So if from a layman point of view, if I don't know anything, I would be just, pointing out 3 points that I think and, in everything that we are using from the past. First paragraph, paraphrasing the question, nothing else. Just the same, explaining the same question in our own words. More and more transitional corporations. So he has used the synonym of multinational company to transnational corporations are setting up branches and factories in less developed nations. So they talked about developing nation. He talked about less developed. So a synonym. This essay will first suggest that reduced labor cost is the primary benefit. So they talked about advantages. He included an example, while bad publicity, so included a example of disadvantage. So this is how he wrote a very well written introduction. Now, then first he's explaining all the advantages, then disadvantages. So in advantages, he's writing the main reason multinational setup shop in poorer countries is about much cheaper for them, right? Cost of production, manufacturing, all that, lower salaries, comparatively lower salaries. You know, what else he's writing? Yeah. So advantage, explaining advantage, and that with that advantage the examiner wants you to explain it very well. So for explaining it very well, you need a solid example also, right? So if you don't have an example with it, you can't explain it. So introductionary paragraph, just paraphrasing the question and explaining what you will be writing in the first and second paragraph. The first paragraph only about what advantages, and with the example the third paragraph would be about disadvantages. So despite the economic benefit, Apple has recently come under scrutiny because of appalling condition in many of its Asian factories, right? So they are now telling the disadvantages, that including 15-hour shifts, pressure to meet unrealistic quotas, and low wages. Some have committed suicide, right? So they are telling the disadvantage. Now they are giving you you can say example. You can write that example if you don't want to write example. So they're telling a fact that result in a 12% drop in the sale of Apple, right? So they're telling a fact, right? So introduction, advantage, disadvantage with the example is very must. And then in a conclusion, so in conclusion, huge global companies may reap the rewards of low operating costs in developing countries, but they should also keep in mind that they have a responsibility towards the worker and this and their right good things. So what he's writing in the conclusion is he's writing that one point that he talked about in advantage and one point he talked about in disadvantage. So that's where the conclusion stands, right? So this is how you would be writing advantages and disadvantage essay. Let me repeat. First paragraph, intro, paraphrasing. Second, advantages. Third, disadvantages, but both with the example. Fourth, conclusion of advantage and disadvantage. Thank you so much. Here we have completed our writing module. Now let's go to another module. So we'll see you there. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz and Fi Aman.